Picture yourself gathered at the dinner table, a flawless fillet of grilled fish glistening on your plate, flecked with lemon and sprigs of fresh herbs. You contemplate for just a moment. Does this meal fit the image of vibrant, healthy eating you've trusted? Fish is celebrated for its virtues, praised by experts for delivering protein, and those fabled omega-3s your heart and mind supposedly crave. Often, you would be right to think so. But are you sure that what's laid before you isn't concealing something ominous? The familiar species you're counting on for nourishment may, in reality, conceal a far more menacing side. Some fish carry silent dangers, a slow, unseen corruption working its way into your memory, your nerves, your very heartbeat. All this damage advances beneath the surface, unnoticed, until perhaps it's too late. Strikingly, most people stay blissfully ignorant. As the years march on, your body's guard weakens. Toxins that once might have been cast off with ease can start to accumulate in eerie silence. All the while, these very fish are lauded by professionals, promoted as treasures from the sea. Only, the reality may chill you. Even if those fillets only make an appearance at occasional family gatherings or a rare night out, their effects are cumulative, especially if you happen to be more sensitive to what you consume than you realize. These fleeting indulgences might be weaving a slow, hidden threat into your life's tapestry, one forkful at a time. I'm not here to spread panic, only to deliver a warning you'd do well to heed. If you're over 60 or care for someone who is, what you're about to discover could be the difference between well-being and disaster. In this video, I'll walk you through 6 types of fish that older adults should never eat. No exceptions. Some of these may be sitting in your fridge right now, quietly waiting. Restaurants across the country serve them, unsuspecting. Number 4, in particular, will creep up on you. It's not what you'd expect. The evidence behind these claims isn't rumor. It's rooted in health studies, real-life incidents, and the unsettling recommendations nutritionists rarely say aloud. I promise by the end, you'll know which fish to avoid and why. And you'll see what safer, smarter choices exist so you don't have to gamble with your health or your palate. What did you find most chilling or surprising about what you learned? I'm eager to hear. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you're brave enough to want more, you can like, subscribe, and hit the bell to stay in the loop. For, unfortunately, there's more where this came from. Before we begin, answer this simple question for me. Which fish do you most often eat at home? If you find yourself here, worried about your own well-being or haunted by concerns for someone close to you, simply mark your presence below with, "I'm here." That way, I'll know these warnings aren't falling on deaf ears. Subscribe to Holistic Health if you haven't done so. The insights shared there may be the difference between ignorance and protection in the days ahead. What follows isn't comforting advice, but a wake-up call. We're about to uncover 6 fish whose dangers lurk beneath their silvery skins. Let's start with king mackerel, a fish so often praised for its flavor, yet quietly harboring hazards that could strike hard, especially in older adults. Picture this: your grandfather, the family's legendary grill master, commands the patio every Sunday. Week after week, he sizzles thick slabs of king mackerel, swearing by its power to bolster the heart and mind. It all sounds harmless, healthy, even until you notice him slowing, drained in a way you've never seen before. Shadows growing beneath his eyes. Something isn't right. Answer my question if you're ready to know more. He often glosses over everyday details. Names slip from memory, appointments go forgotten. Even the remote seems to vanish beneath his restless hands. On certain mornings, those hands quiver as he lifts his coffee cup. A subtle tremor that's easy to dismiss as the inevitable toll of passing years. But time may not be the only silent force at work. What if something he's consumed for his health has, all along, been eating away at him from within? King mackerel, known for its dangerously high mercury levels, conceals a poison that the young shrug off more easily. But for those with many years behind them, the body's defenses falter. Mercury, a heavy metal, doesn't simply pass through or dissipate. Instead, it lodges itself deep, building up in secret until it warps memory, darkens moods, and undermines the body's movements. Over time, this hidden presence shapes the mind, frays nerves, destroys coordination, and quietly undermines the heart itself. Yet confusion abounds. Many mistake king mackerel for the milder, safer Atlantic mackerel, their similarities more illusion than reality. The difference is stark, yet few notice until it's far too late. Atlantic mackerel supports health. King mackerel bears a venomous gift. The consequences gather in the shadows, unseen, creeping ever closer. Nobody seems to be talking about this issue at all. If there's king mackerel tucked somewhere in your freezer, Or if it's something you regularly pick up from the seafood counter, maybe now's the time to pause and think about choosing differently. You don't have to cut fish from your plate entirely, far from it. There are other options out there, ones that bring satisfaction and reassurance. Wild-caught salmon or sardines, for example. They give you those much-needed omega-3s, with barely any mercury to worry about. Swapping them in means safer meals, and maybe a little extra peace of mind for whatever's ahead. These days, picking what we eat feels heavier, like the stakes are higher. Protecting what comes next, one dinner at a time, starts to matter in a new way. And yet, mercury isn't the only silent risk lurking in the seafood aisle. Some fish can chip away at your immune system, leaving you unexpectedly vulnerable when you need strength the most. Take tilefish. It's one you'd barely suspect. You might not even realize it snuck onto your plate. Imagine sitting down to a lovely meal, a celebration perhaps, an occasion marked on the calendar. The menu offers a simple white fish as the daily special. It seems safe enough, nothing alarming at all. But is it? Delicate and light? The fish is perhaps grilled, maybe served under a glistening lemon butter sauce. Picture yourself settling in at a sophisticated restaurant, celebrating some milestone, or perhaps just hoping for a night that feels different from all the rest. Glancing at the menu, your eyes land on the white fish, maybe labeled Catch of the Day. It seems innocent enough, gentle, almost weightless, and beautifully plated. It's natural to think of seafood as a healthy choice. Yet, tucked behind the allure of those graceful fillets is a detail that often slips by unnoticed. A detail that should give pause, especially to those in their later years. The fish, quietly listed, could be tilefish, and that's where the shadow creeps in. Tilefish, particularly from the Gulf of Mexico, accumulate mercury at some of the highest levels found in any seafood, even surpassing king mackerel. For people over 60, this isn't just an abstract warning, it's a real and serious threat. Mercury is not just the concern of distant headlines. It settles in quietly, taking its toll over time. Its effects on the brain and nerves unfold slowly. Dulled memory, confusion, lingering numbness, even changes in mood. For some, the symptoms might easily mask themselves as the early whispers of dementia. What makes the risk sting more deeply? Tilefish masquerades as a luxury, gracing the menu with an exotic name and a high price tag, as if opulence could guarantee safety. Beneath the gleam and elegance, a silent danger waits, quietly accumulating in those who can least afford it. Price doesn't always buy health. In fact, in this case, the opposite is true. When you find yourself at a restaurant, uncertain of the white fish on the menu, it's best to ask what, exactly, you're being served. You have every right to know what's going into your body, even if it feels awkward to ask. If the answer is tilefish, it's wise to pass. See if there's a safer, milder option, maybe cod or haddock. Both are kinder to your body, especially your mind, carrying much less mercury than others. Now, consider swordfish, a name that conjures images of elegant dinners, distant cruises, maybe even a grandparent treating themselves under soft lighting in a fancy restaurant. Go on, someone might say, just this once, I'll have the swordfish, it's special. There's a sense of luxury in the choice, a little moment to savor. But behind the richness lies a hidden cost. Swordfish, after a long life prowling the ocean as a predator, quietly gathers toxins and mercury year after year. By the time that beautiful steak arrives, its danger is silent but very real. The very thing that made the meal feel so extraordinary may, in the end, slowly take its toll. Mercury doesn't simply move through the body and disappear, especially not for older adults whose metabolisms have slowed. Instead, it lingers, finding its way to the kidneys, the nervous system, even the brain itself. The reality this buildup can increase the risk of nerve damage, memory loss, tremors, and fading cognitive abilities. For anyone with a history of kidney trouble, high blood pressure, or neurological concerns, swordfish can make matters worse. A common hope is that a thorough grilling will somehow remove any dangers, but unfortunately, mercury is not destroyed by heat or hidden by marinade. No matter how it's prepared, seared, baked, or cooked over an open flame, the mercury remains, quietly, a part of the meal. For those who love a satisfying, flavorful fish, but worry about the cost to their health or to the well-being of someone dear, there are gentler alternatives. Rainbow trout and pollock, for instance, both offer a delicate taste and simple preparation with only traces of mercury, far kinder to bodies that have weathered so much over time. Choosing these options lets you keep sharing good food safely with the people you want to hold on to. Choosing what's on your plate isn't as harmless as it used to be. Behind every decision lurks a shadowy calculus, a trade that swaps comfort for survival. Food, once a simple pleasure, assumes a grim new role, a fragile shield against the unseen dangers coiling beneath the surface. Picture this. Your next encounter is with a type of fish you've probably met under the seductive lights of sushi counters and the glossy perfection of buffet spreads. It's a showstopper, celebrated by aficionados, its flesh gleaming with promise on every plate. You might have believed it to be a symbol of refined taste, a treat for the young at heart, a thrill for gatherings that defy growing older. But for those past their prime, something sinister festers beneath the glossy presentation. The fish in question is big-eye tuna, known colloquially as high tuna. You've likely been captivated by its deep scarlet slices, recalling the anticipation and camaraderie of sushi nights, those rituals that seem timeless, invincible. Yet, consider behind its allure. Big-eye tuna harbors risks, silent and patient, especially for older diners. Its reputation for strength and endurance, its legendary long swims in the abyss, mirror the stealth with which danger accumulates in its flesh. What you savor could hide a threat far greater than expected, one not immediately seen, but deadly all the same. Let's peer deeper into what lies beneath that crimson surface. Much like swordfish, these creatures lurk high in the food chain, which allows mercury to steadily build up in their flesh, more so than in many other fish. Unlike swordfish, though, big-eye tuna is often devoured raw, a practice that brings another shadowy threat: bacteria. In youth, a strong immune system puts up a solid fight against the microorganisms hiding in uncooked fish. But with age, that natural defense fades. The body weakens, and what might have once been a minor nuisance can spiral into something far more sinister. Persistent bacterial infections, think Salmonella, Listeria, or insidious parasites, can linger, dragging on for weeks or longer as the aging body struggles to keep up. The real nightmare begins when mercury and bacteria join forces, a toxic alliance that can push an elderly system past its breaking point. Many blindly trust the word tuna on a menu, forgetting that not all tuna are created equal. Big-eye and albacore, favorites in high-end sushi bars and luxurious seared dishes, hide among the most contaminated, their taste masking a silent risk. Choosing the wrong fillet can be like inviting a quiet menace to dinner. Though the flavors some types of tuna provide may tempt the palate, the dangers lurking within are not easily dismissed. In stark contrast, the humble skipjack, marketed as canned light tuna, presents a less sinister choice. Its mercury content is considerably lower, the price tag much friendlier, and portion control is effortless by design. Consider these recommendations for those drawn to tuna or tasked with the care of someone who is. Reach for canned light tuna above all others. Restrict consumption for older adults to no more than 2 servings each week, and whenever possible, turn away from the seductive raw forms in favor of thoroughly cooked offerings. This minor shift could very well sharpen your awareness to hidden dangers beneath seemingly innocuous meals. Now, the scene darkens. The next fish isn't just another item on your grocery list. Its global popularity hides a sinister truth. Few dare to consider it is often bred in environments riddled with shadowy practices and contaminated by toxins no one mentions at the seafood counter. Should seniors eat it? The implications are unsettling and demand sober scrutiny. If your own experience echoes what you've just read, leave a comment with the number 1. If you find this information useful, type the number 2. Allow this moment of pause, because fish number 5 casts a long, eerie shadow over dinner plates everywhere. Farm salmon, a specimen dressed in alluring pinks, displayed with surgical precision, the price slashed to lure you in with the promise of robust health. Yet the truth behind that fillet might be far darker than the brightly lit counter suggests. What's your verdict? I await your response. That's mostly accurate. But sadly, not all salmon is equal. Farm salmon, especially those raised in countries with looser standards, like some parts of Chile and Southeast Asia, often carry far more than just healthy fats and protein. The reality is a bit bleak. These fish spend their entire lives packed together in underwater pens, surrounded by thousands of others. Their food consists of processed pellets made from low-grade materials. In such cramped conditions, disease and parasites spread easily, forcing farms to rely heavily on antibiotics. Sometimes, they even add artificial color to the feed, because without it, the flesh of the fish would be a lifeless gray. It gets worse. The feed itself is sometimes tainted with industrial chemicals, PCBs, and dioxins. These contaminants are linked to cancer, hormone imbalances, and immune problems, and their impact can be especially harsh on older adults, whose bodies are already more fragile. Inflammation, worsening arthritis, and greater cardiovascular strain can follow. Yet many people still trust that all salmon is equally good for them. They hear about omega-3s and feel reassured, not realizing that farm salmon might do more harm than good in the long run, especially if eaten regularly. But the truth sits quietly behind the bright pink fillets in grocery displays. What can you do then? The suggestion is to choose wild-caught Alaskan salmon. It's cleaner, richer in natural omega-3s, and caught in waters largely untouched by human interference. The fishing methods used help avoid the chemical exposures and risks found in farm fish. However, reaching for this healthier option comes at a higher price. Another small reminder that even well-being can feel out of reach for some. If only choosing what's best for yourself or your loved ones didn't come down to the realities of cost. And so we arrive at the last fish on our list, a fish that stirs memories and speaks to comfort. For many older adults, this next type has always been more than just another meal. It's comfort, a taste of childhood, a bond with home. Yet in today's world, even the simple act of enjoying comfort food casts a shadow. Picture the senior grandfather in the kitchen, the familiar smell of frying catfish filling the house, laughter in the background, a tradition repeated over years. It's almost enough to forget the uncertainties of the present. But imagine realizing that the imported catfish he cooks with might now endanger his health. Suddenly, a cherished memory comes laced with worry, and something safe has become something else entirely. Imported catfish, especially those hailing from certain corners of Asia, often begin their journey in shadowy, unregulated fish farms. These places are notorious for poor sanitation and questionable methods, where chemicals and antibiotics are unleashed into the water in an effort to stall outbreaks. Many of the substances used here are outright banned in the United States because of their links to antibiotic resistance and the threat they pose to long-term health. For an older person, eating catfish from some of these sources is more than a gamble. It's an invitation for drug-resistant bacteria to invade a body that may lack the defenses to fight back. What might barely upset a younger person's stomach could, for someone past 65, spiral quickly into something much darker: serious illness, hospitalization, or worse. Still, the lure of cheap and plentiful catfish keeps the demand alive, even with these hidden dangers coiling beneath the surface. The lower the price, the higher the risks that remain unseen. If you or your loved ones crave catfish, the safest path is to seek out U.S. farm varieties. American aquaculture is governed by stricter oversight. Water is cleaner, feed is controlled, and antibiotics are tightly regulated. Wherever your catfish comes from, make sure it's cooked to the core. Only then can you feel assured you're not inviting something sinister to your table, especially if you or someone close has a slower metabolism or chronic health issues. In the end, comfort food should soothe, not haunt. After considering these 6 types of fish that older adults should avoid, there's a somber pause. A chance to absorb what this truly means. The facts carry more weight than just numbers or guidelines. They quietly mark the boundary between care and hidden risk. Each entry on this list hints at the quietly fading promise of well-being, lost in the shuffle of ordinary meals. Now and then, you might notice a loved one reaching for what seems wholesome. A mother trusting in the virtue of another salmon fillet, or a grandfather savoring his traditional fried fish Friday. They follow old habits, trusting in choices that once were safe, doing what always felt right. But slowly, quietly, these small, routine acts may be eroding their health. You see it, the risk unfolding in real time, a soft ache of helplessness settling in as they persist, unaware. Each meal becomes a silent trade-off, and witnessing this gradual change brings a quiet sorrow that's hard to articulate. It's clear that they are growing more tired, becoming more forgetful, and falling ill more often. One might wonder if this is simply due to aging, yet sometimes it also relates to what they are offered, which can be quite challenging. These are the people who raised us, guided us, and gave us everything. Now, in their later years, they are the ones who need our support the most. This moment, right now, is where change happens. It's not about fear or guilt. It's about power, your strength. Now that you know this, you understand the key signs to watch for. You recognize which choices carry risk and which offer comfort. With this understanding, you can gently guide your parents toward better options, ensuring their comfort throughout. Helping your partner make smarter choices at the grocery store is also valuable. Checking the menu before ordering isn't about worry, but about care. In our later years, love shows itself like this. Through reading labels, asking where that fish came from, or suggesting trying something new this week. So, there's really no need to cut out fish from your meals. You can absolutely keep enjoying what you love. The key is to be a bit more thoughtful in your choices. Go for wild-caught varieties. Opt for those with low mercury levels. Pick options that contribute to your health instead of taking away from it. Small tweaks here, and there can unlock real benefits for your mind, bones, heart, and even your sleep. Isn't that ultimately what we want? Both for ourselves as we get older, and for the people we care about. Let today be a turning point. Take a look at your fridge tonight. Check what's inside. Read those labels closely. Think about what you've learned, and commit to making just one small change. Maybe swap out that big can of albacore tuna for a lighter, safer alternative. Trade the bargain bin farm salmon for a cleaner, wild-caught steak. Even bringing up these choices at dinner could make a difference as a family. Change doesn't happen in huge, dramatic leaps. More often, it's in the mindful, caring steps we take in the right direction. You still have agency over your health, no matter your age or past issues. Putting your well-being first is something you can do, starting now. Better choices and better days really are within reach. Taking care of yourself or someone you love goes beyond prescriptions and doctor visits. This relates to your everyday habits, what you eat, what you know, and how you respond to that information. These small choices truly carry weight. Let's gather our thoughts. In summary, 6 kinds of fish deserve careful consideration before older adults add them to their diets. King mackerel often gets praise for health benefits, yet it contains a notable amount of mercury. Tilefish tends to slip into menus unnoticed, but brings hidden hazards for brain health. Swordfish may look elegant, but it too can be risky. Both ahi tuna and big-eye tuna are sushi favorites, but they can present concerns, especially for those with aging immune systems. Farm salmon isn't problematic because of the fish itself, but rather due to modern aquaculture practices. Imported catfish is cheap and widely available, but sometimes harbors less visible drawbacks. All of these may seem safe or even good for you at first. However, as shown, each variety poses unique risks to older individuals, ranging from mercury buildup and hidden pathogens to sources of inflammation. As the years tick by, the body's defenses falter. The immune system weakens, your organs grow twitchy, and what once seemed harmless now carries a silent threat. I'm curious, have you or your loved ones eaten these fish, never suspecting what dangers might lurk behind the familiar taste? Did any of these find their way onto your table, threading themselves into your family routine, as they did in mine, year after year? Share your stories in the comments. Tell me about your experience. Did these risks ever cross your mind? Or did you live in ignorance of the shadow trailing your choices? I've read every comment and want to hear about your past, your questions, and even those safer options you've clung to when doubt crept in. This isn't just a video. This is a gathering in the dim spaces fear leaves behind. If anything here jolted you awake, consider lending your support with a like so others might wake up too. Subscribing links you to a constant stream of warnings and strategies, a lantern as you walk the thinning line between wellness and decline. Each day, I share what I learn about nutrition, mindset, and choices that haunt us in the dark. Tools you and those you care about will need when the world grows uncertain. Whether you're searching for yourself or someone whose safety keeps you up at night, this is your stronghold. Before I vanish for now, know that your curiosity means everything. You're here because you care, because you see through the comforting veil to the stark truth that knowledge is the only thing standing between you and regret. Every sharp, deliberate decision sets a better path, one away from shadows towards something safer, wiser. Stay alert, guard your health. Answer my question below. I'll be watching the comments.